Welcome to episode number 3, and we're just coming around the corner here to see what kind of signal we're going to get at the summit. And we've got a red. I'm going to keep pushing from the rear. And I'll get put 10 pounds of brakes on. I had accidentally grazed the key there, so that's why I made a bunch of click sounds. I had grazed the bail key. But I'm still pushing with 2 notches on the rear because I want to bunch that up. And then as soon as that rear stops and the front stops, I'm going to go full independent and also more on the train brake. We'll bring it down to 70. There we go. Bring it down to 70. And we're good. Well, I can bring the rears, notch those down to idle. And now we just have to wait for our signal. If I check the screen there, this is a San Bernardino to Willow Springs, Illinois Z train. So this should have containers. Should be another mixed intermodal with, I guess it could be either auto racks, containers, and trailers. There should be containers on here. It shouldn't be all auto racks unless I might have put the symbol. I might have put a Z symbol under unit auto rack. That's entirely possible that I messed up. Oh, there's the containers. We got it. I was getting worried there. I thought I made a mistake when I entered the symbols for the AI trains. DPU error right when we need it. Don't do that to me. Okay, we got our green. Let's notch up the rear to notch 3. And we'll get the front up. Actually, hold on a second. I want to bring the front back down. I don't want to pull yet. I want to get this independent brake released. And the train brake's going to hold us. So I want to bail. See, we still got 24 PSI there in the brake cylinder. Now I just bailed the rest off. So we might roll back. I don't know. Maybe not. I think we're on somewhat flat ground. And then now I'll start notching it up and let it gently start to pull. And then I'll go another notch. If I had notched it up and then released the independent brake, then it would really pull hard after that brake releases. So now I can kind of gently get it pulling, and then now I'll release the train brake and be ready to notch up if we start to go slow down. So at the back of the train's not moving yet. I'm going to bring the rears up to notch. Okay, there goes the back. I'm bringing the rears up to notch 4, and I can see out the side window that we're starting to move. Yeah, we're moving okay here. So it must be pretty flat. It says it's the grade up at the top was 0, but when we were coming to a stop, I don't know, it kind of seemed like we were going up a slight hill. But it actually looks like we're pretty flat. But remember, the rear of the train might be going uphill, even though the lead is on flat ground. So you always got to remember kind of where you're at. And this is the summit before we start going downhill. So I'm going to set the counter so that I know when the rear of the train goes over the summit. Yeah, I probably could have started there with a bit less power, a little bit less throttle, because it was pretty flat. I was working it as if I was still on a slight uphill. And then we're gonna be dropping down to 20. Actually, right here. So we got to be going 20 before the sign. When you're slowing down, you have to be going the speed as soon as you cross the sign. So I'm gonna put the fronts on, and actually I had just put the rears into dynamic, but I did it a little bit too soon. I need to put the rear back into throttle, because yeah, I think there's still a slight uphill there. The rear of the train is going uphill, and we got this curve too we're fighting. We're going to be, let me get the counter going so we're counting down, because we're now cresting the summit, and we're going to be picking up speed pretty fast. And as we do, I'll bring the DPU from 3 down slowly to 0, and then put it in dynamic, and I'll get the fronts in dynamic right now as they start to pick up speed. And I'm only going to use dynamics to start. I'm not going to use any train brake until I'm at least like notch. Well, I guess it's not a notch, but a dynamic 4, like halfway. Oh, and this is Silverwood here, so that splits off to the Palmdale cutoff down to West Colton Yard. So the UP trains, if they had to get on BNSF tracks, they'd be coming in here, or taking Silverwood back to the cutoff if they were coming from Yermo. So I'm still 4,000 feet from the summit with the rear of the train. So I still got it in notch 2 pushing up the hill. And I'm going to start going into more dynamics up in the front because we got to be going 20 miles an hour limit. I'll put the DPUs in notch 1. We're still 2,500 feet from the summit. And I'm intentionally giving myself some room before 20 miles an hour, although we are picking up speed. And once I notch the DPU down to 0, and actually I'm going to put the DPU now into dynamic so we could start easing them on because it's getting close to the summit and it should be on pretty flat ground right now. I'm going to close all the windows too because those dynamic brakes get pretty loud. So now I'm putting the DPUs in notch brake 1, and actually I'm kicking it up pretty fast because so I'm going full dynamic on the front, and we're probably going to do, if we still pick up speed, I'm going to put on a minimum set on the train brake. But it actually looks like we're doing okay just with the dynamics, and we're actually slowing down. So I must have gone a little bit too heavy on the dynamics on the rear. So I'll try going full dynamics on the front, and then I'll dial in our 20 miles an hour with the rear. So the rear's in brake 3, and that's moving to brake 4, and now we're at 20, so I'm probably going to have to, yeah. So there's a minimum set on the train brake. And you want to ease into that train brake here. You don't want to go too far, because then if you go too far, you got to stop the train and reset all the air. So now I'm just bringing the rear DPUs back down, reducing the brakes on the rear, because now that we got that train brake 6 PSI reduction, it's helping us slow down. Oh, we're picking up speed fast again. So I might have to go another 2 pounds. Let's see, I got the rear and B7. Put the rear in B8. So we're maxed out on the dynamics, and I might need another 2 psi because we're going, what? Oh, this might be, well, we might be good. And see, that's why you don't want to be speeding, but you don't want to also go too heavy on the train brake because you can't reverse it. You can't reduce it without stopping the train. So I want to be cautious there. Although, you know what? You really don't want to be full dynamic like I am. So I'm going to do another 2 psi reduction. Like technically I should be in dynamic 6, I want to say, front and rear. That way it gives me some room to make minor adjustments to maintain the speed. So I'm going with now I got the brake pipe at 82. That's helping us slow down so I can ease out of the dynamics and the dynamic brakes and the DPUs and try to maintain this 20 miles an hour. So now I'm just switching. Oh boy. Now I'm just using the rear DPU to control my speed. And I'm actually going to use the front. Actually, what I should do is go a little heavier in the rear and then use the front, because the front, if you're using the DPU, it does have a slight delay because it's got, the signal's got to reach back there. And if I use the front, it's a more immediate reaction. Seems to be settling down right here. See if I can get us back up to 20. In real life, are these engineers trying to hit the speed limit and maintain the exact speed limit? Or are they staying like 1 or 2 below? I wish it was a little bit later in the day because the mountains are kind of washed out in the background. I got to do this more in the evening where you get the real nice sunsets. Yeah, it's settling down right there. We're in B8 on the front and B5 in the rear, and we got an 8-pound reduction on the train brake. I'm not really having to touch anything now. It's holding there pretty nicely. And then with these curves, it's going to slow us down a little bit more because of the drag, the friction. Oh, look at this. Is this a UP train or BNSF? So 8 psi reduction on the brake pipe was perfect for this train. I could probably get away with another 2 psi and just do a 10-pound reduction because, again, you want to leave yourself some room with the dynamics to which I am right now. I mean, I'm not. I am kind of close to full dynamic, but what, 6 on the rear now and 7 up front. So I can now work the dynamics in minute increments just to maintain that speed. So once we clear this sign with our train, we're picking up to 35. And I think this is control point Cajon up here. Yeah. Oh, I gotta get my counter. Forgot to start my counter there after I passed that speed sign. Or no, I need to count up. Because we need to go... No, what am I talking about? I want to count down, because as soon as the train passes the sign. So we must be starting to level out here because we're slowing down. But it's still a pretty substantial downhill all the way to San Bernardino. We should be able to reach 70, at least I hope, once we're down in Los Angeles area on flatter ground. Oh, now we can do 35. This is where you need to be careful, though, because you think, okay, I can speed up to 35, but if you still don't watch your brakes here, you could go right past 35 miles an hour pretty quick. And I still have the train brake on. So I'm just looking to see what it takes to keep us at 35 in the dynamics. And if it only took like a B2 or 3, then I would release the train brake and then go heavier on the dynamics. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So I've got the rears at B5, and now I'm just feathering the front in and out just to maintain 35. She's running pretty smooth down here. I think we got it dialed in. And this is Keenbrook. So we're not too far from San Bernardino now. I wonder how far behind us that Bear Table train is that's also going to LAC. Looks like this guy's headed to Alliance, Texas. That's pretty cool. You could see the track, like the lean. You can see the containers look like they're leaned over a little bit going around the curve. I think they call that super elevation. I wouldn't mind stopping at that country cafe. I think I see the Cargill plant straight ahead. We're going to be bringing some covered hoppers, some grain, I think some loaded grain cars down there in the future. That was Vermont that we just went through. Oh no, we didn't pass. Wait a second, I'm looking at my map here. I don't think we went through Vermont yet. That might have been Devore. See, it seems like it's flat here because you're getting out of the mountains, but it's still, according to the chart at the top, just over 2% downhill. So you got to be careful all the way down to San Bernardino.
BNSF detector milepost 73.5 main 2 ambient temperature 97 degrees.
This is Cargill here on the right. Oh, what do we got for speed here? Oh, still 35. We're looking good. It's cool on this factory here, facility, they have the Cargill logo up at the top. This is going to be the first time in Run 8 history that I'll be routed into Hobart Yard. This is groundbreaking tonight or today. So this should be Vertimont right here. Yep. Train's heading to Illinois, Corwith, Illinois. Do you guys like having the HUD up at the top? Are you looking at that, or would you rather it be like this and just not even have it up there? I don't. If I'm playing by myself, I don't use it unless I'm outside of the train, being the conductor on the ground, and then I need to see what the train's doing. But otherwise, in the cab, I always leave it off. But I was just putting it on, figuring that, es- uh, especially in like the older SD40s where you can't really see what notch you're in or like what's going on. Like here, you guys could probably look at the screen, even though the numbers are kind of small, depending on how far away you're sitting. But I don't. Let me know. Let me know if you like having that HUD up there, or if you'd rather it just be turned off. hear those brakes dragging and the brake squeal? I might be able to pull them off now. Let's check the temps. If I click here and look at the top, you can see there axle temp 172. So that's not terrible. Oh, 242. That's a little higher there, but I think it's usually like in the 300s. I think you got to be like up in the 300s before you set off a detector. But now, yeah, I'm going to pull off the train brake. But before I do, I'm going to go a little bit heavier into the dynamics. Because it's starting to level out. We're not at as steep of a grade here. So I should be able to just use the dynamics to keep us at 35. Oh, we're dropping down to 30. I must have missed a speed sign. Dropping down to 30 in 1.7 miles. And I think we'll end episode number 3 right here. And stay tuned for episode 4. We'll be coming right through San Bernardino.